Keep the ground upon your cheek when you dwindle it. You be kind and let me go. I'm as timeless as you feel. Timeless as you
Ladies and gentlemen, this is High School Star League. We are kicking off the first weekend of the 2015 fall semester with another set of best of twos. This first one between James Monroe High School and Evergreen High School. I am Joshua Piscatorli here alongside Bill Jump Carter. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm excited to get this underway. HSL fall semester has started, and already we're seeing a lot of teams come out right of the gates running. And with coming out of the gates running, we're actually right into the pick ban phase. It's going to be James Monroe on the blue side and Hamilton on the red side. We've already got Darius and Leeson taken off the table. Both of these teams are fairly matched. We look at the games that happened yesterday, and we had kind of some snowbally run out of the gate and leave everybody behind kind of games, but we have fairly even teams, plat and diamond level players on both sides of the board. So already we've got some very interesting things.
Right, and this tournament, this season rather, is going to be in a Swiss format, meaning that as you progress, as you win more games, you're going to be matched up with people who share the same or similar record as you. So you're not just going to have one team roll through and just get a lucky bracket or a lucky tournament run. That way it evens it out towards the end, and we see the top teams fight each other towards the end of the 9-week season.
We already have two jungle picks taken away from Volume 4 right here from the side of James Monroe. So I want to see exactly what they're going to do with this, because leaving a lot of these juggernaut picks on the table is, or could, should I say, prove very detrimental to a lot of their success. Darius obviously was taken right off the bat, but we've got Garen up, we've got Skarner up, we've got Fiora up as well. So these OP picks are kind of still left on the table, but they specifically did their bans more for counter picks, more for against everybody else.
No, yeah, definitely. But then again, I really wonder how effective it is banning out a couple of jungle picks when a lot of jungle knowledge and a lot of jungle prowess comes from the fact that you're able to read the map well, you know exactly where to go, where to apply pressure at all times. So a lot of times throwing a lot of bans specifically at one player could bite some teams in the butt, but we'll see exactly what Evergreen is planning, because they might have a plan with this. There's a lot of OP picks left up. We're talking about juggernauts the entire time, but Gnar is the first lock-in for James Monroe.
That tells me that Overthink is going to a comfort pick right here. Gnar, in and of itself, is a very strong top lane pick in the meta right now. It can handle Garen from a distance. You know, you have the mini Gnar to be able to throw out the boomerang, get the hyper to try to just get a little bit more poke damage off, but then it also brings a lot of advantage with Mega Gnar and that TP. So being able to have a tank in your top lane, being able to do something like this is definitely a comfort pick that Overthink is going to have. And it looks like Bob the Great is actually going to counteract this with the Renekton pick right here. So the generic juggernauts that we're used to seeing in this top lane are actually just going to get looked over for the Gnar and the Renekton hover as far as the preferences go.
Yeah, we're going all the way back to the beginning of Season 5 right here. We don't see a lot of Gragas nowadays either. He's not as strong as he used to be.
The W nerf hit him hard, and so that also led to a rise with Elise and her buffs. The Leeson buff as well made things good. So you kind of had Gragas fall off a little bit, but it looks like Give Me Gangplank is actually going to end up excuse me, he's going to end up blocking this in. And Bob the Great as well switches over from the Renekton over to the Shen pick as well. And so that right there, two very strong picks, two good disengage protect picks. So I wouldn't be surprised if Flogmaw actually goes for kind of a hyper carry in the bot lane, because when you have a pick like Gragas and Shen on your team, that allows a lot of protection for your AD carry. And so he can go something like a Kog'Maw, like a Jinx, like a Kalista, anyone that just scales very hard into the late game, and you can pull it in. But we're going to see the Veigar lucked in. I like this a lot.
And we've seen this before. We casted a game for Cal State Fullerton where one of their mid laners pulled out the Veigar mid with the teleport as well. You know, Veigar having a little bit of trouble in the early game having that TP, but later on is where that little purple guy gets ridiculous.
So now they did blind pick him into the mid lane. That not only shows me that Noto has a lot of confidence in and of itself, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's an auto win for them. Because if exactly, this is what I was going to, was when you have an AD assassin in the mid lane, your ultimate kind of gets negated. So you have the base damage with your AP scalings as well as the abilities damages, but you're not going to get to tap into that 80% bonus damage of their ability power because you have someone like a Zed. Veigar is extremely immobile, and unless he places a perfect Event Horizon, Zed is going to be able to do a lot of damage and out-pressure him in this early game. They still have a decent amount of AP because Bob the Great Shen is going to have some base AP scalings as well as Gragas with the AP damage as well. So they have enough damage to do something like that, especially if they decide to go for something different at the AD carry. So this pick makes a lot of sense in general, but when you add the Lulu as well as the Tristana into the mix, the team fighting composition and the late game prowess that you see coming out of JMHS right now is extremely strong.
Right, we see Lulu as one of those great examples of an anti-assassin support, but when you have somebody super mobile like a Tristana with the self-peel, the buster shot, and the rocket jump, this Veigar's mobility later on, Lulu can kind of make up for that.
She can. She allows a lot of give. This is something that a lot of Tristana players enjoy about Tristana as a whole, is Tristana is one of the AD carries that can peel for herself. She can jump around, she can bounce around, she can get her resets, and then she has the ultimate for another peel away. You throw a Lulu into the mix, not only does she have the shield and the speed up, but she also can pop the wild growth onto Juki and just make things a lot easier. But what better way to get into the fight, what better way to do that than adding an Alistar into the mix? It looks like we got a little bit of a swap, so Flogbow is actually going to be the support player, but throwing an Alistar into an already very strong engage composition that you see coming out of a Shen as well as a Gragas tells me that they're just wanting to go in, they're wanting to go hard, and they're wanting to put JMHS on the line right here for this game one.
Does make me a bit curious though, because while Red Team does have a lot of power in the Zed and the Jinx, in terms of their team fight, I mean, James Monroe definitely outdamages them here in terms of the damage that Veigar can do in a zone. Maokai and Tristana all up in there, tearing things up. Evergreen going to have to lock down these carries pretty quickly.
They're going to have to, you're right. And one of the issues that you see from the side of James Monroe is that you're right. They do have a better team fight composition when all 5 members are actually into the fight. When Nar and Maokai decide to go into the fight, they're committed. There's nothing else that they can do. So they just go in, they do their damage, they do their CC, and they allow their carries to pick themselves up. But if you look at the disengage that Evergreen brings to the table with the Shen taunt, with the ultimate coming out of Gragas, as well as the ground pound that you have from Alistar, that's providing a lot of peel and a lot of CC to help out Glade and allow his Jinx to get the resets to fire off the rockets. And so if they can't get in and chain their CC correctly to be able to just burst down the Jinx, and they allow her to sit in the back and roam around and continuously get off auto attacks, then it might bode bad for them. But if they can chain their CC, if they can get off their damage, if Noto can find the correct targets and Juki can get a couple resets on that jump, then there's a lot of damage that can be dealt, and there's a lot of good things that can go in their favor.
So a lot of brawling potential coming out of James Monroe High School, and can the finesse come through for Evergreen to find their way through these team fights? Remember, this is a best of 2 in the High School Star League 2015 fall semester. We'll be right back after the spectator delay. Don't go anywhere. 2 games between James Monroe High and Evergreen coming right up.
Time
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our first game between James Monroe High School and Evergreen High. This is a best of 2 series. If you win both, you get 3 circuit points. If you split them 1-1, well, you get 1 and 1. Math is easy. We're all here to learn. On the blue side, we have James Monroe overthinking in the top lane. Volume 4 in the jungle. S9 Noto in mid. Juki on ADC and Johnry on support.
And for the side of Evergreen High School on the red side, we've got Bob the Great 124 on the top lane. Give me Gangplank in the jungle. Precy on the mid lane. Flogmao at support. And to have him 80 carry, we've got Glade. Let's get this going. Let's get this underway. I'm ready. I'm excited. High School Star League, day 2, week 1. Already nothing really exciting, nothing really over the top. Both teams respecting the line of scrimmage, throwing them out some very easy, cautious wards to stop from the invade. I'm not looking to see too much crazy stuff right here in the beginning until Gragas hits his level 3 and starts to do work. Maokai has very solid ganks, but he's so mana hungry in the jungle early. And so until he's able to get the blue buff, until he's able to get mana regen, and maybe even his first jungle item, then I don't see too much out of that. But we could be wrong. We might see some action indeed.
Then again, seeing Maokai bot side kind of lets us know that James Monroe is not electing to go this double jungle route that we've seen so often in competitive play, and even a little bit in the High School Star League. So a little bit of an unhealthier clear for the very mana hungry tree might mitigate their ability to throw out some early ganks. But we are going to see standard lanes, lane swapping, not something we typically see happen so much outside of the actual pro scene. Man, all those little trees though gonna go boom in 3, 2, 1, kaboom.
Saplings doing damage. No fancy starts for both sides right here. Jungler's not even going to take a camp for the level 2 cheese. They're both just going to go straight to lane. Gnar wins this matchup just because he's able to get into Shen. He's able to go in, get the auto attack harass off, get the percent max health with the hyper. But if Shen can play this correctly and shield these and dodge enough boomerangs, and he is going to just outscale with that pure tankiness. Going to be able to split push. There's not much that Overthink's going to be able to do for that. Looking across to the other lanes, mid lane, we've already talked about it as well. Zed wins this matchup very hard if an event horizon does not hit its target through and through. Vigar has the teleport, so he's going to be able to float to the different lanes and even go back maybe and teleport to lane if he needs to. But he's not going to have any kind of offensive, defensive summoner spell to stop Precy when he decides to go in. Now you want to look over at the bot lane right here. It's kind of an even matchup in this sense. You have the Lulu poke that's kind of obnoxious for Alistar, but Alistar, as we know, has a very strong innate amount of sustain, an innate amount of tankiness, so he's going to be able to, take a little bit of that harass, and then if they do decide to go in, then he's got that extra CC to let Glade just throw down the rockets and all the damage to follow up.
And then again, at the same time, considering how annoying Tristana and Lulu can be in lane, electing to start a ward, force out the Tri-Burst right there. Might have been expecting Volume 4 to make moves early on, but they go in right here. Don't anticipate anything much to happen after the Flame Chompers miss. But a good amount of damage being traded by this bot lane. James Monroe and Evergreen just itching to get first blood on each other.
They're wanting something, and you can already tell that this Maokai is actually going to be aggressive. Like I said, he is a very mana hungry, and so until he can get that first mana item, like the Ranger's Trailblazer, then he's not going to be as successful. Flogmao actually, though, able
this
to
might
get
be the
everything
lockdown
off.
that we need. The zap does land, a heal comes out. Can they lock down the first kill? But it doesn't happen as Glade just one auto attack away from killing the Tristana. Like Flogmao gonna slap that Lulu away, get him off that ADC. No first blood just yet, but James Monroe and Evergreen, they want to put on those boxing gloves.
That was a very successful Chompers that Glade was able to pull out right there. He positioned the Chompers behind the Tristana, and so after the ground pound had actually lifted, he had to walk back into the Jinx before he could walk around the Chompers to get out. So very good positioning right there. They were able to win that trade. Juki, though, able to pop the pot. They're going to be about even going to use that Doran's Blade to try and get some health up right here. But here we go. Here's our first gank. We've got the ping. Volume 4. Not going to get spotted out by that ward, but the Shadow is available on the Zed.
Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas. I love that skin. Even if you
It
miss
is.
it makes you feel happy for a little bit. Christmas is coming soonish.
We have to get through Halloween first. Halloween's
Oh, that's true.
my favorite time of the year, so
I'm
we have
gonna
to
be
get through
Elsa.
Halloween. You're going to be Elsa?
Am I more of an Ana type?
I'm just not. This is just one of those conversations I'm not even going to comment at. Malachi gets spotted out by the ward art, though. Volume 4 just going to decide to walk back. Gragas knows he's there, so he's coming back around. He sees him that they might try to do this dive. The heal is not available on Glade, so this could be a possible kill right here in favor of James Monroe.
They jump right onto the ADC, and the first blood does come through. However, they didn't expect that. Yuki jumping out with the reset. We see Overthink coming in, but I don't know. Oh, the Alistar going very, very low. Lulu flashes straight out of there. They actually end up trading 1 for 1. They take down the tree, but Tristana, who picked up the kill? Maokai picked up the kill, and then the support picked up the kill. Definitely going to be very useful on that jungler.
So you traded 1 for 1. You're right. The jungler is going to be able to use that a lot better. But what this gives, though, is that the teleports are down, and Lulu actually burned her flash. So if you want to look at it from a sense of what got burnt versus what got taken kind of thing, then, you know, they actually, Evergreen came out on top there because they were able to burn an extra summoner spell. They were able to pick up a kill. And even though, you're right, Maokai can utilize that gold a little bit better early than Alistar, Alistar was able to go back, use that gold to buy a sight stun. So that's going to be an increased amount of vision. With both teleports down, they're going to have the advantage with the dragon now. Bob the Great's almost level 6. He's almost going to have the potential to use that Stand United and help out his team. And so with the teleport down on Gnar, that not a possibility for James Monroe, then this could lead into an advantage for Evergreen if they play this out correctly.
And speaking of advantages, you were talking so much about how this mid lane matchup can go so heavily in Zed's favor. And looking at it right now, 22 CS at the 7-minute mark. If that's not a lead, I don't know what is, Jump.
It's just that there's so much that Zed is able to do. There's no real way that Noto can just get in, get off successful damage, and get out successfully. Because if you use that event horizon, you stun him up, you're able to get off, you know, a good little skill rotation, then that's your stun down. You have no way to protect yourself. And now that Pressy is level 6, he's able to just go in. He went back, bought the Hex Drinker. That way the Noto burst is just not going to be enough to be able to kill him. So he has that. He has the CS lead, and he's just going to be able to continue to bully this lane. And so if Volume 4 is unable to come in and get off a successful gank, then that's just going to be even more trouble for James Monroe as they slowly but surely get into this mid game.
And as Evergreen High School, you have to be thinking about that too. This Veigar gets so scary later on. Do we shut him down early? Do we just let Zed do his thing, focus pressure elsewhere? Definitely try to influence the actions of the other jungler as well. Volume 4 actually electing to go Runeglaive Maokai in the jungle. That's an interesting buy.
He wants burst and he does not care. That's exactly what he's feeling right now. He wants to be able to get in and get his damage. Maokai has pretty decent AP scaling, but you need that tanky stat to be able to utilize the Ventral Maelstrom a little bit better. So it's a little bit of a different build path. We'll see if it works out. I don't see it necessarily not working out because, again, they have a lot of follow-up CC, they have a lot of damage, so they can burst somebody down. But as we slowly but surely transition into the later stages of the game, as we're at 8.5 minutes now, slowly bringing it up on the 10-minute mark, I want to see how they're going to be able to use that successfully. Because this little bit of a damage spike is only going to be working for so long right now. Give me Gangplank. He hasn't been as active. He had a really good counter gank, so he's down a little bit in the CS range, so he's not going to be able to have the items. Once he gets that Cinderhulk out, once he completes the Cinderhulk on the Ranger's Trailblazer as well, then that's going to be a very tanky Gragas, and that's going to be a very successful opportunity for him to be able to do something around the map.
Yeah, but Volume 4, realizing that he has to put this early advantage to use, looking for something in the mid lane. That's super tricky to gank, juking out. Zephyr coming down onto the Veigar, but they do get the lockdown. The Event Horizon doesn't land, but can they get anything else to happen? And this is where Shen comes in, makes things so annoying. Can they turn the fight right here? Oh, the exploding cast backwards, and Brace turns it right back around. Noto taking damage from the casters, and that's a two-piece for the Zed in the mid lane.
You know, I take back everything I said about what this Gragas has been doing. Even though he's down a little bit, he has been counter-ganking efficiently 2 times that Volume 4 has quote-unquote successfully ganked. Give Me Gangplank has been there immediately to respond. Shen had a fantastic sense of presence right there, was able to throw the ultimate down onto Pressy, was able to get the survive right there, and then Give Me Gangplank comes in, gets a beautiful ultimate, able to knock back the Maokai. Presse picking up that kill, and then just doing lovely Zed mechanics, able to get stuff down, killing Noto with the Ignite. 2 kills there in favor. This is a very scary Zed already at 10 minutes in the game.
And a very sad Veigar on the flip side.
Very sad Veigar. Noto says Noto.
Takes long enough to get going as Veigar, but when you have this mid laner so ahead in CS right now, we see that extending out to 31 at 10 minutes. I feel like I get 31 CS at 10 minutes, so being 31 CS ahead at 10 minutes, Presse doing work. And we know Zed has a very scary mid game. If they can continue to snowball off this guy, well, Evergreen going to be a very happy group of students after this.
Over 30 CS and 2 kills puts you up at 1,300 gold. But here we go, Volume 4, wanting to do some more blood. Gragas isn't here to respond to this time, though, so Overthink has a chance. Meganar's almost up.
He's pinging. They'll be coming around the ramp. She comes. Meganar comes in. Can they flash in? Oh, they do get the stun off, so this should be a dead ninja right here. And James Monroe High School managed to find a little something to come back. Give Me Gangplank actually used the ultimate there, trying to blast him back into the tower, but no kill going to follow through for Evergreen. But James Monroe stepping a little bit back.
That was a really good job by them to try to get it up. They are riding on this chain CC fact. It's something we mentioned in the early game. If they can chain CC, if they can, geez, that's a lot of C's. If they can chain CC their abilities correctly and put them in the spots that they need, then they have the damage to follow up. Especially since Overthink is deciding to go for the Black Cleaver option first. He has the damage to do so. You have a lot of damage coming out of Volume 4. He has magic penetration boots right now. Now, I don't know if he's going to continue along this AP Maokai build. The potential is there because you do kind of have a tank in the top lane as well as a Lulu to help bolster you up a little bit with the wild growth. But still, that's a lot of early damage, and Maokai's saplings hurt a lot. They have almost a 1-to-1 scaling on the AP, so you throw that along in with the base 15 magic penetration from the boots, and that's a lot of damage that this tree is going to be throwing in your face. And so if he can lock you down and his team is there to follow up, then things just happen to Bob the Great happen immediately. He's very tanky. He still is in a good spot as a Shen at this point in time. So being able to burst him down and get off that damage bodes a lot of good news for James Monroe, because they're going to have to do something to get a hold of this Zed, because he's up, we're going to look at it right now, 4.3k gold just on the mid lane alone. That is a huge, or sorry, 1.3, I can't do math. 1.3k gold already. The entire gold lead is almost for him, and it looks like here he comes again. But
yeah, everybody trying to get a hold of this Zed, but the jukes do come out. Ooh, blows him the wrong way. I'm not sure if that's going to cost him. Nope, it doesn't. AP Maokai, no tanks that's there. Looks like the support actually flashing in. I'm not sure if Lulu, this is what you want to do. And the Vorpal Blade finds its target onto the Yordle. Evergreen High School picking up their 5th kill, and it's not over yet. The Great Chain CC coming out. Juki jumping away. Blade does not have the Super Mega Death Rocket, so that should be the end of the story in the bot lane. But holy moly, the aggression is everywhere.
Fighting across the map. What did I say? You have to find a way to shut down the Zed. So they send the Lulu to the top lane, or sorry, to the mid lane to try to get something in. It's just not going to be enough. The outplay and the support that Bob the Great has done, that's 2 for 2 on ultimates right now. Very successful indeed. Juki is going to have to get out of there. Give Me Gangplank is actually going to have to, comes around to try to do something. Here comes the teleport. Meganar's almost available.
Here it comes.
Wrong teleport. Huh. You just see teleport, and you automatically assume
I thought it was
that it's
Nar
the top
too.
laner. Oh,
Like,
God.
wait, Overthink's teleport is on cooldown. Man, somebody's scripting or cheating over here. We're going to have to get a ref.
Something. Oh, my gosh.
It's like teleport Diana when that gets thrown out once in a while. I'm like, here comes the TP from the Maokai. Oh, wait, it's a Diana. Map awareness.
You just see a Lunar Rush come out of nowhere, and you're like, you can't do that ability.
You can't do that.
This is not what it's supposed to be.
Volume 4 still looking for this mid lane, though. So you are picking way too much on my Veigar. Something's got to give. But the first tower actually goes down in favor of James Monroe High School. A little bit of extra gold definitely going to help them out.
And just look at what Presse is deciding to do. Maw of Malmortis, and look, here comes the damage right there. That was actually a very good event horizon right there by Noto. He put it right in the middle and then walks out of it. And so because Zed's W shadow dash is actually a dash, if he shadow dashes through the event horizon, he actually still gets stunned up. So that's something there. Volume 4 still trying to make something known. They're going to contest this blue buff, but it looks like he's caught between a rock and a hard place. The tree not wanting to be... Ooh, gets out alive. Wow.
I'm not sure if that just saved Volume 4. Ooh, flashes right in and says, thanks for saving me. Gonna go in right for the ADC, but Glade actually manages to flash out there. Looks like the rest of James Monroe High School trying to decide whether or not they want this dragon. Cressy being this fed, though, it definitely has to be sticking in their mind. And look at the lack of tank stats on Volume 4. Magic Pen Boots on top of the Rune Glaive. There's no health or armor to absorb all of that damage from the fed Zed. This greed might end up costing them as they're getting chunked down pretty low by the dragon and Evergreen. You know they don't want to give this up easily. See Quagma coming in with the ultimate, boosting dust secured. However, the rockets come in from the outside. James Monroe High School going down very low, but it looks like Evergreen's just gonna tear them apart. 2 kills for Evergreen so far as the rest of them get stuck in the dragon pit. James Monroe, you gotta get out of here, but it's not gonna happen. Evergreen High School picks up 4 kills. While they do give up Dragon, all that money gonna make him feel a little bit better.
Complete sense of disarray and discombobulation from everything that James Monroe was trying to throw out. They did a really good job at trying to do what their comp entails. Chain everybody up, get everybody together, do all your damage. But when they were grouping everyone else together, they were also grouping themselves. And if you were to look at a replay of that map, you would see the damage percentages come over 65 to 70% from Glade. The rocket damage AoE was just too much for them to handle. She was able to pick up a kill. Another kill went down over to Presse. It was just right down the line of picking things up. They were able to get it. They weren't able to get the dragon, but they get almost a clear ace. They get 2 towers, and they extend their gold lead to 4,000 at 16, almost 17 minutes now. This is Evergreen showing exactly what it takes to start off the week 1 of this HSL as strong as possible.
That fight translating to a done Infinity Edge in the pocket of Glade. While Juki's still working on the pieces, need a little bit more lunch money before you can go back and buy that shiny new sword. Something Tristana does do well is take down these towers, but man, look at the AoE crits coming out of this Jinx. And as time goes on, we know just how obnoxious that crazy chick can get. Thought your ex-girlfriend was crazy, but man, this chick, she has a gun.
She has a gun, and she likes to make things blow up. So that already is just telling you. And then you mix it in with the fact that she's willing to go to all heights and turn her, what's that thing called? Turn her guitar case into a machine gun. Then you're already like just doomed for disaster. If she's not only she wants things to blow up, she's disguising herself as a jazz artist from the 60s. And it's a disaster. But speaking about disaster right here, Bob the Great, I don't think this is a spot you want to be in. Tries to get out with the ultimate. It's not going to be enough, though. Pressy.
Ooh, actually manages to flash over. I'm not sure if this Zed. Ooh, he's caught in between a couple of different places. You know what? Maybe I'm just going to take down one while I'm here anyway. Might as well pick up a Lulu for dinner. But you know what? Doesn't matter how fed you are. When 4 people show up to try to kill you, it's usually going to go to the 4.
As I say, it doesn't matter how much damage you think you can do. If you can't move, that damage isn't happening. That damage isn't popping off right there. A good job to shut them down. Able to get Zed out of the mix. They're going to have to try to respond with some kind of push right here. Jinx did a really good job at clearing that wave. They don't have the minions really to be able to do too much with. 3 caster minions aren't going to be enough from a Jinx rocket, and it's just going to get stalled out. And this is exactly what Evergreen is going to want to do. Even though they're ahead and they don't have to worry about it, the farther this game drags out, the stronger that the Jinx is going to get, and it's just going to make things great. But here they go. They're right back in it.
See the explosive cast. I'm not sure if they're going to want to fully engage on this. They did manage to save the tier 2 tower. I think that's what they really wanted. Not sure if James Monroe High School is going to want to continue pursuing this endeavor. Man, the wave clear coming out of the Jinx AoE on top of the constant barrels and the razor shurikens rather, coming out of this fed Zed. A little too much to deal with in terms of sieging.
There's not much to able to do. Bob the Great actually
stopping a back right there. I'm not sure if they have the follow-up. Might get locked down right here. Tristana getting off free damage. Bob the Great is on a killing spree. How often do you see a Shen going down? But it looks like the explosive charge takes out the ninja. Tristana getting a little bit more gold in the situation where she's very appreciative of getting whatever she can.
They're going to have to disengage off of this. You've got Dragon in less than 2 minutes right there. Good job to do what they can, but it's just Volume 4 is so squishy right now. He's sitting at 1-5, so he's struggling for gold. Yes, he's got the CS advantage, but the 7 assists that Give Me Gangplank has right now is just too much for Volume 4 to handle. So he's trying to get himself up. He's got the Righteous Glory completed, so he's got a little bit more, but it's just this squishy start that he had just put him in a difficult position because the kills that he wanted weren't able to pop off. He wasn't able to get out of that squishy stage and into something tanky faster, so that's put him in a little bit of a predicament. You couple that with the kind of off-tank items that Overthink decided to start off with the Black Cleaver. He's not as tanky as what he needs to be. He bought the Giant's Belt and is sitting on the cloth armor, so he has a little bit more, but it's still just not enough yet. There's too much damage coming out of Pressy. There's too much damage coming out of Glade. And it's just, this is what they have to do. They need to be careful. They need to get their team fights in the perfect spot because the rockets and the shurikens are just way too much for them to be able to deal with. They need to let Noto scale up. They need to allow Juki to start going. Get those levels, get that range on that auto attack up a little bit so this Tristana can start helping you out. They are just struggling right now, and a good thing that Evergreen is doing as a response of this is they're just pushing the advantage. They're forcing the objectives. They're forcing the fights. That's what you have to do when you're this far ahead and you have a team composition built around your carries, is once they're fed, once they have gold, you got to try to take advantage of it.
Looks like they're going to take advantage of some mispositioning right here. The Shen ult is not coming through just yet. You have a support going very low, and not having that unbreakable will on Alistar could hurt Evergreen. Not sure how much 1Z can do against 5 people who are pretty much at full health. Only the support going a little bit low. Dragon is alive though. You still see the Shen split pushing in the top lane. They're going to have to respond to this or make a decision on whether we take Dragon or we try and save our top tower. Right now, indecision. They're kind of walking back and forth saying, you know what, I'm not really sure what I want to do. Finally, they managed to turn on Dragon. Lulu somehow off by herself with Juki in the bot lane trying to get a tower, but right now it might cost them. Give Me Gangplank gets locked down by Volume 4, but finally comes to stand United, and they get knocked back. The fight is split. Members of James Monroe everywhere, and this ADC Jinx rather, getting off free damage all over the place. Presse just walking up to this Tristana. Hey. I am so fed right now. You can't do anything to deal with me. And Overthink in his cuter, but much squishier in our form, forced to run out of there as all of the rest of his team goes down, gives up Dragon, and even more gold going into the pockets of Evergreen.
Evergreen pushed the advantage, they pushed it well, and they let their carries do the work. When the Gragas pick was initially locked in, it was to protect the Jinx and to make sure that plays could be made. That's exactly what he did. Glade 3, 1, and 5 has actually caught up to Pressy in CS as well, and so the big bad Zed is now being matched by the big scary Jinx right here. They are a dominating team. This is just such a good showing, such a clean showing by Evergreen to push the advantage and force the fights when they are necessary. The gold disparity between all the lanes is so much in Evergreen's favor that they can pretty much prance around the map and do anything they want. Now, that being said, it's what they do with this advantage next that's really going to dictate how Evergreen is going to close out this game. If they want to secure the 1-0 lead and have the potential to get the 3 points for the 2-0 victory, they're going to have to close this game out in due fashion. With that being said, there's no deep wards yet. They need to make sure to get some deep wards in. They need to get this top tower. They need to do, or not top tower, yeah, they need to get the top tower. They need to get this mid tower. They need to do a lot of different things to push this advantage, because if it gets dragged out, even though Jinx is very strong in the late game, even though Shen is just going to be a tank monster, you still have a lot of scaling coming out of Gnar, as well as a Tristana. Tristana late game, as we all know, is just stupid strong. So if you allow her to get back, if you allow her to catch up, then that's just not going to bode well for your team if you get put out of position. So what are they going to have to do? Push the advantage, get some deep wards, and really try to force this game to end as quickly as possible.
Right, we talked so much about how this kind of gamble coming out from Overthink and Volume 4 on these tank roles, going damage earlier on, it didn't really pay off for them, and they're really paying their debts at this moment. Evergreen doing a great job of pressuring objectives while they still have the advantage. Kind of playing ARAM in the mid lane now, as we often see when teams don't necessarily have something to actively push for. There is a big, considerable wave stacking up bot side. Overthink having the TP. They might want to think about sending him over soon, but this low tower in the mid lane is so tempting for everybody to try and get.
It's so juicy. 200 health. They're like, please just let us have it. We want to have some kind of advantage. We want to have some kind of pressure right now. And it's just the wave clear that you see coming out of the rest of the team. The Ranger's Trailblazer smite goes down. It's just too much for them to be able to do. But this stalling out.
Get top lane.
Yeah, exactly. This stalling out is just allowing for a horrible situation. The top tower that we said they needed to get is going to most certainly go down. There's a huge wave in the bot lane. They're sending Juki down to get that, but what does that allow? That now allows the rest of Evergreen to push. It allows them to go through. You've got some good wave clear coming out of Nodo. Mega Gnar is about to be popped right now. Here we go.
That's
They're
a
wanting to
great
come in.
explosive cast. Nodo, everybody's kind of split up. Look at this, Zed going in deep full solo Q style. Baker, that's not you, but close enough. Kills getting traded. Looks like James Monroe actually jumping back into this as Give Me Gangplank, the next one to get targeted down. Bob the Great, you're tanky, but I'm not sure what you can do against 4 members of James Monroe. High at this moment manages to take down Nodo as a revenge kill, but right now he's just on the run. James Monroe actually managed to pick up a little bit of gold there, and as we get it, Overthink does secure the kill. Man, what happened there?
That was a complete turnaround and a horrible decision by Give Me Gangplank to go all in when Mega Gnar was almost about to be popped. He had a really good ultimate to knock Nodo back. Nodo instinctively pops the Zonias, and that allows Overthink just enough time to flip into Mega Gnar form and just allow everything to pop through. Bob the Great did a good job at joining himself in, but when you don't lock down Juki, he's still strong. He's 2-1-3. He's not weak at all. He has the Infinity Edge completed. He's almost got the Static Shiv completed as well. So he's still doing a lot of damage, and Tristana with that explosive with the explosive shot is just way too much for anyone to handle. If you cannot lock her down, you allow her to get resets, you allow her to reposition herself, then it's just a struggle for you all across the board. They're able to turn that. They're able to reduce this gold disparity a little bit with Dragon spawning in a minute 30. I want to see how they're going to combat this, because now that they're starting to do damage, if Evergreen gets put out in a bad spot, if they get in a bad position, then James Monroe has shown that they can take advantage of it. And so Evergreen needs to watch themselves. They need to be careful because James Monroe is right on their heels.
Yeah, we were talking a lot about this in Pick Ban. On a straight 5v5, James Monroe High School has the potential to do a lot of damage, especially considering the CC chain that they can put down with the Gnar, with the Maokai, with the Veigar, even the Lulu jumping in there to knock people up and turn people into little squishy squirrels. And the Dragon Pit's a great place to do that. Everybody in a nice closed area, but it looks like Pressy going full solo queue kills right into the event horizon. Goes in deep, the fight is scattered all over the place. Overthink's trying to charge up the Mega Gnar as soon as he can, but Glade gets knocked out of the fight by the Buster Shot. Might have actually saved the life of the ADC, but James Monroe High School looking to turn this around. Runeblade finally paying off there. He picks up a kill there. Bob the Great trying to take the front line, but there's so much damage coming out of James Monroe High. The rest of Evergreen, they're on their tails. They still want more. James Monroe trying to pay back them for the lead that they managed to secure in the early game, but that's gonna be it. Can they take this tower on top of that?
You know, you said it just now, and I'm going to repeat it. They want more, they want more. That's all that Evergreen's strategy has been reliant on. We want more. Pressy wants to go in. Glade wants to get damage off. Give Me Gangplank wants to try to make plays. More, but that more was just not enough for them. They're overcommitting. They're overzealous. They're trying too hard to push an advantage that James Monroe can capitalize on if it's not done correctly. Pressy went in 1v5, was able to get stunned, and ended up going down in that engagement. You just need to not push yourself out too far. As an assassin, as someone who is as fed as Zed, he doesn't need to be the first one to go in. That's what Shen, that's what Alistar are for. They're the ones that need to be into the fight, doing the tank frontline damage, and allow Pressy to kind of get forgotten so he can jump in, get all his damage, and nuke down whichever character he decides to go on. That's not what he's doing. He's the one engaging. He's the one going into these fights. And as a result, he went from 5-1-5 to 6-3-5. He's dying. He's going a little bit too aggressive. And if they're wanting to close this out, this is not the way to do it.
Early gamble may not have paid off for James Monroe, but they're very happily cashing in on Evergreen over aggression. We see Veigar slowly getting to this point where with a couple of large rods in his pocket and the Morello Nomaton on top of that. Does such a great job, especially considering the AoE that his Dark Matter has. On top of it, falling a little bit faster nowadays. Really mitigating the amount of healing that Shen, I mean, that all of them can do, because all of them have some sort of heal built into their, you know, kit or their item build at one point or another. So locking down this little purple wizard can be so crucial for Evergreen. But like you said, Presse trying to be the one to do it. Might have to rethink his strategy, considering that he can't, you know, he can't 1v3 anymore.
He can't indeed. And now that you're starting to see the tank stats, Overthink has the... Excuse me, he has the Dead Man's Plate completed. He's got the tank stats. The teleport was actually forced out right there. Veigar's coming back to lane. Nodo still wasn't able to buy anything, but he still is able to do damage. If we want to take a look at his stack count right now, he's got 136 at 30 minutes. That's a little bit under what you would want at the 30-minute mark, but it's still a lot of extra damage onto his skills. And so even though they don't have an AP threat, he's still going to be able to chunk down Glade or Pressy very low if he's able to get off that full engagement. With that being said, though, here it comes. Meganar's almost available.
Meganar's so close. They're so close. Gets knocked right back into the tower, though, but knocks back a couple in the exchange. Presse gets focused immediately. That's why you can't take the front lines against a team fight like this. Play gets jumped on. There's so much burst coming out. The explosive shot, the last auto attack from Juki manages to find the kill onto Oh my goodness, the turnaround. Oh baby, a triple for the Tristana. The mid inhibitor tower under fire. James Monroe High School ties up the gold lead after that fight.
That was a beautiful Meganar engagement right there. They focused on him so hard, and you know, it was kind of a blessing in disguise when you saw him actually get thrown into the tower, because they were so focused on, okay, tower, or he's under tower, we have to attack him, that he just was able to tank off so much damage. And what we talked about earlier, if Tristana is able to get the resets, if Tristana is able to just go around and throw off as many explosive charges as she wants, then that's just going to be an absolute disaster. You have the Zeke's Harbinger completed onto John Ray. You have 2 crit items as well completed onto Juki. And so it's just going to be so beneficial if that is able to, if the Tristana is able to just move around and do whatever he wants, because that's exactly what you saw. 6, 1, and 4 now, relying on his positioning as an AD carry and allowing the Tristana resets to just take control. Juki is just catapulting his team back to victory. They're now tied on the gold, and it looks like the desperation Baron attempt is coming out of the team that for so long was so far ahead in this game.
This is going down pretty quickly. I'm not sure if this is going to be enough for them. There's a lot of members of James Monroe High School approaching. They're going down. They're looking to turn this around. Indecision all over the place. They do manage to secure it, but can James Monroe turn it around? Blade on the backside, getting free auto attacks up. That's one Jinx getting excited. Overthink on the front line, but the follow-up damage is kind of split off the Gnar against the wall, but who cares? Double kill for the Jinx. Blade looking for more. Evergreen High School, the high-risk play ends up paying off for them as they manage to pick up the Baron there. And who knows what the heck else they can grab off of that.
Desperation turned to an advantage that they held time and time again. Glade was finally able to sit in the back of that team fight and fire off the rockets. When she can do that, there's no way that they can lose. She has so much damage right now, and even though Juki has been doing everything he can to get his team back into it, you just can't out-damage an AoE Jinx into the team fight. Juki prioritized the Alistar. When Alistar has that ultimate on, you're not going to be able to touch him, so the explosive charge was rendered null and void. Baron is going to go down, as well as a beautiful team fight advantage in favor of Evergreen. They're going to get the middle, the inner middle turret right here. Dragon is spawning in a minute. Dragon number 2 is on the board and as a possibility, and Evergreen finally going right back ahead. This back and forth has been happening all game in the last 10-15 minutes, and Evergreen, though, doing what they do best and showing exactly why they had the lead in the early game and how bad they want this game 1 victory.
But if there's something I love about League of Legends, it's the fact that as the game goes on, one little mistake can cost it. Like, it doesn't matter what you did in the first 40 minutes. It barely matters what you did once those respawn timers get long enough. One little slip up can cost anybody the game. We have a great opportunity for a big throw right here, as I love to see, as a caster 25 seconds on the respawn timer for the Dragon. And you know, these teams have been fighting over it constantly. James Monroe really looking to pick up that third one. That extra move speed will help a lot in locking down this immobile Jinx and this slippery Zed, so see what they can do.
As they say, it's not the team that plays better, it's the team that throws first that decides the victory of a game right here. So mispositioning could prove detrimental to any kind of success that you want to have. The death timers are slowly starting to bring around. So if there was if there's a clean and solid ace right now in favor of Evergreen, they have the means to be able to push down and potentially get a tower. They chunk that dragon down. That's going to go down immediately, and they're going to rotate, and they're going to try for this mid push with both side waves in their advantage, as well as Baron buff still in their possession. They're looking to make a charge, and they're going to knock on James Monroe's door.
Oh, this is such a tricky situation for James Monroe. Big wave stacked up in the top lane. Big wave pushing down bot. We finally see Bob the Great teleporting over to try and get some pressure over here. John Ree going time and time again to try and stop this guy by herself. But you know what? When you're a support Lulu, you can't really 1v1 a Zed, or that was a 2v1 on top of that. You see here Evergreen coming around from the outside. That's a big tank on the menu as the tree gets cut down. Looks like the rest of Evergreen High School trying to... Baron has expired, however, they do have a lot of wave play, and Jinx does so much damage to this tower, they might not even care. They might go for it right here.
They're trying to do something, but Noto has a lot of damage that you cannot ignore. They're stalling this out. They're keeping this pressure right now. There's not much that they can do in the mid lane, but look at the wave in the bot lane. It's so much damage. John Ray actually has been connecting and reconnecting, so we might get a pause right here for the DC. But yeah, it looks like the pause is actually going to come out and be done. So let's take a look at where we're at right now. 22 to 14, 57.2 to 51.9. K gold in favor of Evergreen High School right now. They have just done so well at moving themselves around and applying a lot of pressure and funneling the resources where they need to go. But the problem has been overzealousness and just a little too ham, a little too often. They need to be on the back heels a little bit more. They need to take this a little bit slower and just relax, because if they can do that, then everything is going to fall into place right now. If you look at where they're at, they've got very good pressure across the map. 2 members actually had to go back to heal up and to that or buy items, and so it's reliant a lot on Noto's ability to wave clear. And if they decide to do this, they have the members to pull off a dive and actually just go right into the face of James Monroe's base and go for everything. Because when you have the pressure that you see bot lane, anything is possible at this point.
And at this time, we just want to give a quick reminder shout out to all of our sponsors at the High School Star League: Twitch, Newegg, Tespa, Loot Crate, Rockcat, MSI, and Jinx Apparel. Without the support from these organizations, a High School Star League would not be a possible venue for high schoolers across the North American region to get a chance at tasting what exactly competitive League of Legends is like. And in games like these where the league goes back and forth, the taste is oh so sweet as a spectator. I can only imagine what the comms are like for James Monroe and Evergreen High School. I know if I was in high school, I definitely didn't handle pressure this well. I'd be shaking, I'd be nervous, and at the end of it, like, we'd just all be hungry.
Looks like the Lulu is going to be reconnected right here. Hopefully that, excuse me, as my throat decides to just like mess up the entire time. It's not as bad as eating, 31 hot wings, but at least at least it's good enough right now. So Lulu's going to be trying to come back into the game. Hopefully we'll get the unpause fairly soon. And you're right, there's just a lot of things that can come out of this, and it's really going to be, on James Monroe's ability to come back. And when I mean come back, I mean capitalize on the missed positions that Evergreen is able to throw out. There's a lot of different things that can happen. There's a lot of different things that can pop up, but it's just going to be very reliant on James Monroe's ability to capitalize on the mistakes that Evergreen makes, because Evergreen is still very far ahead. Their carries are super fed right now. And when we haven't even talked about this, the Mikhail's Crucible that you see from the Alistar, that's just one extra piece of help that Glade is going to get in these team fights. And so if Juki or Noto aren't going to be able to take care of the front line, and Overthink and Volume 4 aren't going to be able to just dive onto Glade and make things difficult for her, then it's just not going to matter, because the rockets just do so much damage, and the short range that you see coming out of the front line from Overthink and Volume 4 is just going to be havoc if Glade is able to just roam free.
And then the previous objective fights, that's something Glade was able to do so well. We saw in the Dragon fight, in the Baron pit, Delay just kind of sits back while this beefy front line of the Gragas, the Shen, and the Alistar just kind of says, you know what? It's like the big three scary bouncers at a club that won't let you in because your shoes are too dirty. Come on, man.
Come on, come on, come on. Please, please, please. So it looks like now, just to give everybody a little bit of an update, we're actually just waiting on the Alistar. Alistar DC'd and came back. And so having a little bit of internet problems right now. So while we get this figured out, guys, we're going to jump it to a quick little music break right here. So stay tuned. Don't forget, this is the High School Star League. James Monroe versus Evergreen. Game 1 of the best of 2, guys. We'll be right back.
And thank goodness we are back as we get right back into the action. Evergreen High School pounding away at this top inhib tower. Might be looking to end it right here. The damage coming out of Juki. Still a lot to deal with. Flogma. Whoa.
DC. I think the Alistar was reconnecting back and forth, so that's going to be difficult. They might call for it soon. But that was a very good thing to do. The DC was, again, another blessing in disguise because look at the bot lane right now. They are just cranking away at this turret. There's so many caster minions. The cannon minion from blue side is just going to try to do everything he can, but this is just getting chunked away, chunked down. They're not going to be able to respond to time. They're actually going to go into the Zed right now. Oh, Faker, is that you?
QSS
It is
too
indeed.
early.
The struggles. As an AD carry main, being just QSSing before the animation of the death mark finishes and it not actually cleansing the ultimate is just one of the worst feelings in the world. Hands down. Pause.
Might have a little bit more of a connection issue with Flogma on behalf of Evergreen High School. So ladies and gentlemen, once again,
A summoner has reconnected.
Oh, maybe it won't be as long this time. So now
I
the
feel-
game has shifted a considerable amount, considering that this top lane has been blown wide open. No turret there anymore, so that inhibitor, naked and afraid, can be easy pickings.
And makes it even more difficult because when the enemy team has two split pushers that can basically be thrown into that lane or another lane and just pretty much just hack away as much as possible, then, you know, it just makes things so difficult. Because if you look at what they do, they could actually run a very successful 1-3-1 right here. You throw Shen in the top lane, you throw Zed in the bot lane, or flip it around, and then you have Glade, Flogmile, and Give Me Gangplank in the mid. They have enough peel and enough disengage to basically just get the heck out of dodge and go where they need to go to get away from the rest of James Monroe. And so this just is a very successful strategy that they could employ. Considering the fact that the inhibitor is wide open, they have to respond to that split push in the top lane. So that's already going to be one man down, and that's exactly what you want, especially if Zed is the one in that top lane and he has all the damage, and they might have to send two members down to do something. And so creating this division of champions and really just making the other team split their resources in a very inefficient manner, if you really want to think about it, is exactly what Evergreen wants, and they can find success from it if they can do it correctly and they can position themselves around the map.
Plus, maybe they're just getting to that point where they're like, yo, Pressy, you gotta stop going in 1v5. Go do your own thing. If anybody shows up, yeah, you can go kill them. For right now, we're not breaking up, we're just taking a break.
We're taking a break, but it's going to be a long distance break. You're going to be on that side of the map. I'm going to be on this side of the map. And if you come to my side of the map, we're not going to be friends anymore. It's like when you sit with your it's like when you sit with your friends at the cafeteria and you're in one section, and then just one day you walk in and you sit down and you're waiting there for like 15 minutes for your friends to show up until you realize they just like decided to sit on the other side of the cafeteria, and you just feel so lost and alone, but you've been doing your own thing for so long that it's just like customary at that point.
That sounds pretty rough, Jump.
I'm quoting my childhood
You want to
memories,
talk about it?
so I don't want to talk about it. No, I really don't.
Or it's like in Mean Girls. You can't sit with us! Because she was wearing sweatpants that one day, and they weren't supposed to be wearing sweatpants.
I really liked your Mean Girls impression. I'm not gonna lie. That was pretty on point. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The voice break at the top pitch right there, I think, just solidified everything. But guys, we've got about we're still waiting on this Alistar right now. Looking around at exactly what everybody stands, since, you know, it's been so long since our last pause. Like I said, they have the 1-3-1 potential that they can do, and if you really just want to go, you know, down the line as far as items go, the ready sign comes out, so I won't have to drag on this for too long. But just looking at the gold as we flip over to the gold meter right now, look at how much gold is in favor of the carries for the side of Evergreen right now. 13.5k on Zed, 14.2k on Jinx, and just having that much gold on your carries is exactly what you're wanting when you have such strong carry potential in your AD carry in mid position, because this is what you go for when you pick this composition. Your resources are going to be funneled into the ones that can bring your team closest to victory, and for this team comp, it's going to be Zed and it's going to be Jinx. So being able to not only recognize that, but follow that line of path and just keep it going is done such good things for Evergreen. Now, yes, Zed got fed pretty early, and Jinx was able to pick up a couple triple kills, but I mean, you know, things are just falling in place. The dominoes fell in your direction correctly this time around.
But then again, as this game gets even later on, the fact of the matter is they poured all of their resources, like you said, into this mid lane carry and this Jinx. But that's all AD. That's all physical damage, and considering how tanky Maokai and Gnar can get, especially in that Mega Gnar form, once they start stacking enough armor and enough health, I mean, Glade's going to have to get like 40 seconds worth of auto attacks off in order to take down everybody. But wow, consistency, the name of the game. Get ganked by a pause yet again. I'm not going to bore you with our talk about 1-3-1s or this constant reevaluation of the situation. For ladies and gentlemen, be sure to check out High School Star League on the internet. You can see our links on the screen right now. We do have a wonderful store online where you can get some awesome apparel, represent some High School Star League pride. A big shout out again to our sponsors, Twitch, Newegg, Tespa, Loot Crate, Rockat, MSI, and Jinx Apparel. We're going to kick it to some quick music. Hopefully when we come back, we'll have the finale of the first game between James Monroe and Evergreen High. Don't go anywhere. I am Joshua Piscator Lee. Alongside me, Bill Jump Carter. Be sure to follow us on Twitter. You can see exactly when High School Star League goes live. We'll be right back after this.
A summoner has reconnected.
And we make it back, hopefully, to be able to finish out this game between James Monroe High School and Evergreen High on the second day of the first weekend of the 2015 fall season of High School Star League. Evergreen
We're
High School
here.
poised to make a recent push into the base of James Monroe High, picking up red buffs along the way.
And this is what we were talking about, the split push. It's not the 1-3-1 that I envisioned they would do at the beginning, but it is going to at least be a 4-1, forcing Overthink to go to this top lane. He has teleport, so if Stand United comes out from Shen, then there is going to be the chance of Overthink possibly A, joining the fight with the teleport, or B, trying to cancel out Bob the Great going to do something as well. But that being said, Baron spawning in 30 seconds. Vision control is the name of the game right here. Both teams trying to secure that down. Evergreen having the advantage on the inside circle trying to get this. So there's a chance for them to be able to get something for this. But with that being said, there needs to be a change of strategy from James Monroe, if they're going to contest this, because what we saw from the last Baron fight, Blade was essentially untouched, and that led to such a good advantage for them that they don't want to try to repeat this again. So it's going to rely a lot on Juki and Noto to position themselves in the team fights correctly and really try to get the correct amount of damage off, because if they can't, if they don't, then that's going to be very difficult, and again, Evergreen will come out on top.
He goes right in, flashes somebody against the wall. Looks like that James Monroe High School looking to take a fight right here. Bob the Great juking and diving, trying to get taunted down onto the back line. So many members of James Monroe going very low. Juki on the front line, you gotta watch out. That opens the window for a Jinx rocket. Here comes two. Can they pick up more? Evergreen High School still continuing to be on the chase, but Glade is doing so much damage. A double kill goes into the pocket of Glade. 3 members down on behalf of James Monroe, and that's all of their damage gone. What can they do here, Jump?
Again, and again, if you don't touch the AD carry and you have a Jinx on the enemy team, things are going to go south and there's nothing you're going to be able to do. 3 members of James Monroe are down, 30-second death timers. That's going to be an easy 1 inhibitor, 2 inhibitor, and probably the Baron at this point. You've got Dragon as well spawning in 20 seconds, so the move and speed buff option is on the table as well. Evergreen just tore that fight wide open. Presse was able to divert enough of their members' attentions towards him, which allowed Glade to sit in the back, crank off all the damage, and then just make horrible things even worse right there. Good job by Glade, great job by Evergreen. 2 inhibitors down, and they've got the lead.
And we very softly hear the beginning notes of the funeral march, beginning on Summoner's Rift. 2 inhibitors down. A Tristana that has yet to build Last Whisper. And that lack of a Cinderhulk really starting to hurt Volume 4 in terms of how much damage he can absorb. In addition to the nerfs that Maokai received earlier this season as well, but it looks like they're going to make a last stand here. Flogma, however, even as his 4, going to shrug off a lot of his damage.
Juki relied a lot on getting that Mercurial Scimitar. I understand that you get the movement speed buff from that, which, speaking of movement speed buff, the third dragon actually goes down soloed by Presse right there. So that's going to be an extra little buff for them. But no, Juki just relied so much on getting that extra damage and the movement speed buff that you get from the upgraded Mercurial Scimitar that did everything else. But here we go. This might be the fight to end it all right here.
This might be the fight. Look at Glade getting free damage off time and time again, going godlike. This Jinx is so scary. Somebody's gonna have to get to her, but that's two. Can they find her a Penta? They're chasing after it, but no, Presse ruins the dream right there. Soto actually manages to pick up one, but James Monroe High School, actually picks up a two-piece. Blade trying to chase him down, but that is only one little purple wizard against the very scary carries of Evergreen High School. Looks like they're gonna say, you know what, we don't even care about Baron. There are enough minions to ride into right here. James Monroe High School gonna fall down at the hands of the super fed Jinx and the super fed Zed. Good games to both teams, but at the 42 and a half minute mark, Evergreen High School take game one in the best of two series.
They rode the back of Zed early, and then they let their 80 carry do what 80 carries do best. Damage, DPS, and the fight fell apart for James Monroe after that 12-4-9. Fantastic showing by Glade right there. Evergreen taking the 1-0 victory. And JMHS has a lot to think about now. There's a lot of different things that are going to go into this game too, because you have the option of tying it up. If you tie it up, both of you guys get 1 point. So ensuring that you at least get 1 point and you're not giving 3 points over to Evergreen is on James Monroe's minds. They're going to have to rethink themselves. They're going to have to sit back and figure out what they did wrong. And a lot of it comes down to itemization as well as their team compositions. Everything was great except for the Maokai. He finished 2-10-15. He went a lot of damage early. He was really trying to push himself forward in a manner that wasn't necessarily right at that point in time. So there's a lot of different things that they can think about, and they have the potential to do so. The Veigar pick wasn't bad. Tristana actually did a pretty good job until she finally just fell down a few times at the end of that game. So there's a lot of different things they can do. There's a lot of different things that can happen, but Evergreen, they want to come up top. They want to get the game to victory. They want the 3 points.
So when we come back, can Evergreen lock up the 2-0 for their first game of the High School Star League 2015 fall season? Or will James Monroe High School take some notes, do their studying like good high school students they are, and come back to tie it up 1-1 for them to split 1 point apiece? But ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. When we come back after the break, we have James Monroe High School and Evergreen switching sides. Blue is now red, red is now blue. Don't go anywhere. Be sure to check out our website at highschoolhsstarleague.com. All of our sponsors, a big thanks to Twitch, Newegg, Tesla, Loot Crate, Rockcat, MSI, and Jinx Apparel. Without your support, this could not be happening. So thank you once again for tuning in. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the second game between Evergreen High School and James Monroe High School. Once again, I am Joshua Piscator Lee, here alongside Bill Jem Carter for this second game in the best of two series.
Can Evergreen pull off the 2-0, or is James Monroe going to pull things back? We've swapped sides this time, guys. Evergreen's going to be on the blue. JMHS is going to be on the red. Already getting underway. The same bands. Doesn't look like they want to change too much strategy right here in the band phase.
Then again, at the same time, if you're Evergreen High School, you're like, you know what? That worked out pretty well in the previous game. Why fix what isn't broken? But James Monroe High, realizing that this Zed on behalf of Press A was a little too strong and a little too annoying to deal with. Just going to get that right off the table. Oh, it looks like Glade actually electing to take the Jinx away from themselves. A troll ban, maybe. But it looks like they're not going to prioritize that ADC pickup, and they'd rather have it gone than risk losing it in the first rotation on behalf of James Monroe.
So, with the Jinx ban, that is a change from game one, because in game one, they actually banned Vayne for their third pick. So, with first pick right here on the blue side, they might actually prioritize the Vayne for Glade. And Jinx does very decent, very well, I would say, against Vayne, especially if you have a very aggressive support to go with it. And so that's exactly what they do. They're going to get the Vayne locked in, and they're going to get it. I love it when the Caster's Curse doesn't affect me, and I can actually call something correct.
In before Karma ADC.
Oh, please, mercy.
Wonder exactly what they're going to do. We saw Juki do a lot of damage on this Tristana. Vayne has a little bit of trouble against Tristana early on. That front-loaded burst coming out of the explosive charge and the auto-shoving on her explosive charge passive being a little bit annoying to deal with as a Vayne when you don't really have the wave clear until you get a static shiv. It looks like Volume 4 actually electing to go a little bit of a different route, saying, hey, I like Runeglaive, but at least uses it a little bit better.
Yeah, I like the Elise pick right here. You know, one of the things I talked about right after that first game was that you need to find a different jungler that can either A, be a little bit more proactive, or B, just bring something else to the table. And that's what Elise does. You can build Elise with a little bit damage, kind of like what Volume 4 has been doing so far, but you can also create utility later on. You've got you've got a reduced cooldown on the cocoon, as well as an increased stun duration, and so that's going to prove successful if you can land the skill shot. Irelia, as well, is a much stronger pick in the top lane, because the mid-game power spike that it gives you is going to allow them to, you know, come back if they fall behind in the early game again. So I like both of these pickups right here by JMHS. This is going to be a very different situation that they have, because I want to see exactly what kind of team they go around this, because you can go for a mid-game power spike team, or you can actually just rely on the late game, or you can go from a much stronger aggressive early game if you decide to go something different, because they're going to have to find a way to lock down and get a hold of this Vayne, because we're not too sure how successful Glade is on a hyper carry like Vayne, who requires a lot of mechanical attention. But I'm just at a loss for words. My entire statement just got rocked right there. We have a Cassiopeia in this mid lane right now.
Holy single target damage. In addition to the utility that Cassiopeia can offer through that very, very powerful ultimate. But right now it's all about, we're going to lock down one person at a time and delete you. Take our sweet time deleting you, one auto attack or one twin fang at a time. It's like Noto hovering that Veigar, saying, you know what, maybe I want to play that again, but hovering back and forth. Azir a little bit nerfed, but still has his place in the meta.
I agree. His ability to just control team fights around, and when you throw in the Sivir, the Sivir press R to win comp kind of is a little outdated, so teams aren't picking it as much, but it still finds a decent amount of success when you have an Azir and Aurelia into the mix, and it just does well. But it looks like actually Juki is going to go hyper carry for hyper carry, throw all in to match Glade's Vayne pick right there. Kalista is going to get locked in right here, and this is a lot right now that Evergreen has to think about, because are they going to play Protect the Vayne comp, or are they going to play the Dive comp? And it looks like they're actually going to play Protect the Vayne comp with the Gragas and Lulu pick getting locked in last. And to quickly answer a question, yes, the casters are reading the chat, and so if you have anything that pressing, we'll probably be able to answer that throughout the game.
But Kalista Thresh, such a powerful bot lane combo. If this gets locked in, it's going to be pretty annoying for Evergreen to deal with. But it looks like, considering how immobile and dangerous Vayne and Cassiopeia are, Evergreen High School, I mean James Monroe High School rather, looking to pick up some point-and-click CC. Hard to miss a Nautilus ult.
You have to have something to be able to just lock this Vayne down. You're not as worried about the Cassiopeia because you can find ways to get to her, but it's just the Vayne, the going invisible, the just dipping, dodging, condemning, moving herself around is very difficult to get to. But when you have a point-and-click ultimate like you have on a Nautilus, as well as kind of an auto stun coming out of the Aurelia from Overthink, that's a lot of options that you can do. You mix that in with not only the ultimate from Kalista, but just the control-oriented style that Azir's kit is right now after the current nerfs and changes that he's had. This is a much stronger team, in my opinion, that JMHS has this time around. But if you look at it on the flip side, Evergreen has just a strong comp as well. They kind of are going back to the same things that they started doing in the past, but being a highly dedicated protect the Vayne composition is going to rely a lot on their team synergy. And something that we saw last game was that synergy wasn't always on point. Presse was known to just go in and try to do everything himself. So it's going to take a lot of, I guess, restraint from Presse to be able to sit back and allow Glade to be the one to carry this game through.
So have Evergreen High School worked out the kinks in that little break that we had, or will James Monroe High School be able to use that little break and information to bounce right back to tie up the series 1-1? Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching the High School Star League. Evergreen High School versus James Monroe High School. Evergreen up 1-0 in the series. When we come back, we'll see if they can tie it up 1-1. Once again, a big shout out to all of our sponsors at Twitch, Newegg, Tespa, Loot Crate, Rockat, MSI, and Jinx Apparel. Be sure to check us out at hsstarleague.com, in addition to all of our social media outlets, as you see on the screen right now. I am Joshua Piscator Lee, here alongside my co-caster, best friend, and I'm just going to stop it right there, Bill Jump Carter. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We have switched sides. Evergreen High School up 1-0 in the series, now on the blue side. James Monroe High School on red. Introducing our players once again. On behalf of Evergreen, Bob the Great, 1-2-4 in the top lane. Give me Gangplank in the jungle. Press A in mid. Glade on ADC and Flogma on support.
And for the side of James Monroe, we've got Overthink in the top lane, Volume 4 in the jungle, S9 Noto at mid lane, and Juki and John Ray to round out the bot lane, AD carry and support. I wonder if, like, there's always this little moment in Champ Select where Give Me Gangplank is like, can I please?
Can you give me Gangplank?
Can I? No? Okay, I'll try again next game. Like, you know that has to be some kind of thought that's in their head at some point.
I wonder how jungle Gangplank works.
It used to actually be a thing, believe it or not, because you would just power farm. You would get in an Avarice Blade, and then you would just power farm until you'd walk out with a Static Shiv, Infinity Edge, and you would just do a crap ton of damage, and it just wasn't ever.
Juki realizing, hey, I don't think we ever actually bonded. You didn't actually ask me to the prom, you just kind of insinuated that I was going with you, so I'm going with him instead. That's an awkward conversation to have. That totally didn't happen to me in high school. Ha
Dun, dun, dun. All right, so the game is over. JMHS wins because you've got 2 Blood Moon skins, and it's the Blood Moon tonight, actually. So for once, it's actually synergistically correct. So as soon as this game's over, I want you to run outside and I want you to look at the moon. It's when it's its brightest and its best, and there's also an eclipse tonight. So
there's an eclipse.
There's an eclipse tonight, and the blood moon means it's like it's really close to us. So it's just, I think that's what it is. I think tonight is the blood moon.
Well, I'm just gonna go outside and look at the sky anyway. And if my neighbors ask what I'm doing, I'll say, "Go away, neighbor. I'm looking for a blood moon."
Yeah, it's super moon. The blood moon, super moon. It's the same thing. It's
That
a
sounds
total.
scary.
It's a total lunar eclipse.
No way.
Yeah. Yep.
This is where I start singing the song.
No, please don't. Please. Oh, I'm over it. All right, flipping back to the game right now where we're at. We actually had Overthink decide to start a camp. This is something that you're seeing most everyone do at this point in time, but they actually didn't decide to do it last game. But it got flipped around this time. Overthink being able to go back, get some pots as well as a ward right there, trying to stay aggressive. Now, there's a lot of debate on whether or not Gnar wins this matchup or if Aurelia wins this. A lot of people say that Gnar wins this because of his range, but a lot of other people say that Aurelia wins this just because of her innate tankiness, as well as she's just able to trade if she maxes her E, which is which is her Equilibrium Strike. I personally think that Aurelia wins this matchup because just of the poke damage that she can just sustain out of with her stuff, but depending on how these players feel as far as comfortability goes on these champions is really going to dictate a lot of things around both junglers finishing up their stuff. The Scuttle Crab actually is getting just pounded upon right here by Gimme Gangplank. He's going to get the top Scuttle priority right there to try to get a little bit more vision. And as far as pushed up as Bob the Great.
But in the bot lane though, Flogma actually got tagged up by the root passive of John Ree, and they just lit that little Yordle on fire in order to pick up first blood. So James Monroe High School, while they did lose the previous game, trying to come back really strong.
They have to get some early pressure. They have to do something. Oh, that was a very lucky situation.
What was that interaction? I'm so confused.
So, the pull, it's a weird way, which actually we might have to pause this up right here because look, this is what I'm talking about with how strong Aurelia is. Gnar almost went down. Give Me Gangplank actually is trying to do something, trying to help out, but the minion wave was just too much for him to be able to try to get something off. But no, that interaction kind of works the same way that the Tristana jump works with the Blitzcrank hook. Blitzcrank actually, if Blitzcrank hooks a Tristana and Tristana presses the rocket jump as the hook animation is happening, then the hook will land, but Tristana will actually jump out of the hook. It's the same way that you can arcane shift out of every single Blitzcrank hook kind of thing. Like, it's just animation priority, I guess is what Riot used to call it. it's fun to be, but it's horrible to play against. Like it's one of those situations.
Like, haha, I got away. All skill. Hashtag calculated. Meanwhile, it's Crank, Nautilus, or anybody else with the hook, you're just kind of sitting there sad.
Sad days. Sad days.
Looking to shove up this lane early. We do have a ward in the tri-brush. The opposite team does. So they'll be able to see any sort of shenanigans James Monroe might send through that side. But that little ghosty ghost roaming around the tri-brush as well. Helps out the bot lane that has managed to pull ahead in the first 5.5 minutes in the game. A little bit of CS ahead with that first kill and the assist goal going into the pocket of Kalista. Man, that mid game is going to get annoying.
It's going to be really annoying, and I want to touch base on the Sentinel again that Juki was able to throw. It's a really good position because even though it can get spotted out really easily, it's just the fact of the matter of having it there is going to be really strong because the way that she positioned it, she actually was almost at the tri, but she's actually, we're going to have to pause. There's a flash. Cocoon is going to land right there, Volume 4.
They're all over it. The rappel comes through. Already used the venomous bite. Oh my goodness, Volume 4 might go down right here, and Presley turns it right back around. Whoopsie doodle. Pop goes the spider.
Oh, that was such a beautiful petrifying gaze coming out of Pressy right there. Volume 4 dodged it, did a good job, but didn't have the flash available because the flash cocoon came out. So that right there was just a little cut and simple outplay. Pressy able to get the kill, doing a really good job, already getting ahead. Doesn't have the CS lead that he had last time, but still, that was absolutely fantastic by them. But here we go. We're going to see a little bit of opposing aggression right here as Giving Gangplank is trying for some blood.
They're trying to lock down the ADC, but they're just juking back and forth. Not a whole lot you can do against them, but Glade actually getting Ren stacks on Ren stacks, getting the Whimsy to speed up out of there. You don't want that lady tearing those out of you. Like the most unpleasant eyebrow waxing you will ever receive.
I don't even want to, and just envisioning that was just so detrimental to anything. Both junglers hovering around the bot side, but they're going to come to a mutual understanding, and they're going to just head right back into their jungle to try to do something. Give Me Gangplank is hovering around right here. He thinks that they might try to do something. He's only level 4, though. The item advantage is actually in favor of Volume 4 this game, as he's about 8 CS ahead. Yes, he's died once, but just having that extra time in the jungle is going to be really good. And this is going to be important because once Elise is able to hit level 6, which she just did, she's going to be able to have the extra damage as well as an extra spiderling. And so that's going to create a lot of extra pressure. The flash is not available, but the cocoon is still a very strong ability if landed, because since they did the increase of, instead of it being 0.75 seconds stun level 1, it's now 1.25 seconds stun level 1. So that extra half a second is going to be enough for any of the members of James Monroe to follow up and try to get some kind of pressure right here. And looking off to another side of the map right here, Bob the Great doing a really good job at out-pressuring everything, but it looks like actually the flash from Overway, just as I say that right there,
ooh, Transcendent Blade!
Oh my god, lands the last Sniperino for the Killerino. Not overthinking that one, pulling out ahead and doing a really good job at evening out that minion lead.
Yeah, while that happens at the top lane, it looks like the rest of James Monroe High School saying, you know what, there aren't a lot of people around here. Well, there's nobody around here. This is going to be the freest dragon of all time. Not very often I see a Kalista Ren with like 20 stacks in a dragon, and it still has health left over. It's the first time for everything, though.
There is indeed a really good set of rotations right here by James Monroe, securing the kill in the top lane, which means that Bob the Great's not going to be able to respond to any kind of dragon pressure right there. They had a little bit of a ward pressure. It wasn't what they did, but oh, they're going to come right here.
Lockdown Pressic, and they turn it around again, but the Ignite is ticking. Oh, Cassiopeia actually manages to survive. Volume 4, the #1 nemesis of this snake. Overthink, however, looks like Noto actually manages to knock them back. Evergreen High School, you're in trouble. Can they find the damage? And yes, they do. Bob the Great in the midst of all of them as this Kalista, with just a sliver of health, manages to jump back and forth. And these hooks coming out of Johnry, finding their target time and time again. What a management. What a display of management of their tiny little bits of health.
It was a turnaround for a turnaround right there. Presse did everything he could to just get the biggest and the best outplay. Overthink teleported in. At first, it didn't look like it was going to be that much successful, but Evergreen overcommits a little bit too much to that fight, and Nodo, should I say, gets the MVP of that fight, was able to do a good little Shurima shuffle around, pops the Emperor's Divide, slamming 3 members of Evergreen back into it. The retreat flag was thrown up, thrown away, but it wasn't enough as Overthink's able to pick up 2 kills in that engagement. That was a really good job, and for the first time, we're seeing JMHS get this early game lead, and they're the ones that are starting to take it up and roll with it straight out of the gates. They are not going to bow down to a 2-0 defeat. They're going to do everything they can to get that point and to put themselves on the board in week 1 right here of the High School Star League.
Yeah, such a powerful mid-game comp coming out on behalf of James Monroe High. See Volume 4 actually, he really likes those magic pen boots, makes a lot more sense this time around on the Spider. He actually going for the Rangers Trailblazer, not able to get as powerful a gang stop for making those clears so much faster, but Overthink trying to put that lead to an advantage in the top lane. Jumping in on Bob the Great every time that Blade Surge is available.
And this is the difficulty that you face when you're a Gnar. When you're not in Mega Gnar form, it's just you can't get away because you just have the ultimate stuff to come down. But Volume 4 right here, Mega Gnar's almost available. He might be able to get it. Nope, just does a really good hop away. Crisis averted right there. Bob the Great's just going to prance around and laugh his way out of that. But no, Overthink is just able to just dash right to him, throw down the Equilibrium Strike, and just stick onto him with the damage. Now that the Phage as well as the Sheen is completed, he's able to have so much more sticking power. And just look at this, it's Mega Gnar form, but he just does not care. Going in, going out, doing everything they can. Meanwhile, talking about going in, Glade right here, catching Juki out alone.
A ton of damage. Oh, the Fate's Call gets thrown Johnry right in. Glade actually gets knocked up. The GC chain coming out of the Nautilus. Is it going to be enough? It hasn't popped yet. There it is, finally. The Juki is so low. Will Johnry be able to get the kill? There's no Ignite available.
Flash is
he does have Flash.
though.
Can he flash for the root? Is he going to do it? Just going to sit here patiently and watch. Flashing for the root. The Riptide. One more auto attack should do it. Who said that support can't carry?
Hey, 2-0-3 right now, pulling out his best muscles and flexing the Nautilus muscles as best he can. That's going to be a tower because look at the rotations you see coming out of Nodo. He did a really good job of pushing his wave out. He warded deep into their jungle. Now he's rotating down. That's going to be a tower, and that's going to be pressure in favor of JMHS. Bob the Great is unable to do anything in this top right now as Overthink actually could dive him if he decides to do it. Mega Gnar is almost available. It's about 90% there, so you have to be careful for something, but you might be able to burst him down if you can get it correctly. Tower, like I said, went down in favor of JMHS in the bot lane. They're going to go back. They're going to collect their winnings and buy the damages, and this is a JMHS that we did not see the last time. Complete and utter turnaround.
Yeah, Overthink dove in deep with the Transcendent Blades, but it looks like Give Me Gangplank actually going to pick up a bit of shutdown gold on the opposing Aurelia. But man, the pressure that Overthink is able to exert on Bob the Great, this Gnar not having a very good game. Ahead in CS, yes. But when this Aurelia has a Trinity Force at 13 minutes and 20 seconds, having a bad time. Like Presse, I'm going to have even a worse time. 2 kills, but can't outplay. No tower to jump under. Volume 4, Johnry and Nodo both all after the Snake, trying to stomp it out, make Snake wine out of you. You see the rotation coming in from Vlogma and Glade, though, as it looks like JMHS slowly realizing they might not be alone in this fight. Dragon is up in 1 minute, however. That might be their next priority.
Back up, back off. The Dragon's in a minute. You don't want to overcommit right here. Nodo needs to secure this blue buff, needs to be able to crank off as much damage as he can into this fight, and he's done a much better job on this Control Mage Azir that he did as opposed to the Vigar, I almost said Victor, the Vigar in the last game. He's making sure that he's using these champion strengths so well. He's going the attack speed Azir build, which is what we see a lot of Azirs going these days. So he's being optimal, he's trying to stay relevant, and he's doing a really good job at it. Yes, Press's mechanical outplays have been something that we have to take note of. That is not a denial, but looking at it from a comparative perspective, retrospectively, S9 Nodo has done an insanely better job this game than he did in the last game, and he's showing it, and he's proving to his team that he is relevant and he is worthy of doing something. They're going to push something, but it looks like Gimme Gangplank wants to come in here.
Oh, get saved by the HSL. What an awful feeling that must be. Johnny going in deep again. Hey, go back in there. I don't want you to die just yet. This is a direct land against the wall, but not enough tower shots to finish them down. Flogma forced to use the evolve growth on himself, but Juki finds the kill. The condemn against the wall, as it looks like JMH has not quite done pushing just yet. Not too much of a wave 3 casters, but can this be enough? Johnny going in deep again and again and again as Clay manages to find a kill. But they're trading back and forth. Bob the Great doesn't get the Gnar, as it looks like the spider from the outside doing damage freely. Mega Gnar is running out. Run away, run away, run away. The itsy bitsy spider gets hit by the hyper sack.
Oh, I was waiting for the second part of that, but it doesn't matter as Noto actually, that fight, the two carries were in between the towers right there. That's going to be a tower down, and Overthink is plenty tanky enough. The ping for the dragon comes out. Overthink's going to head on over to it. John Ray is going to be there shortly. He has the mobility boost to try to do something. Volume 4 is up in 10 seconds, and this is just a completely different James Monroe that we saw in the last game transitioning into this game. This is a much better, much cleaner game by them, and again, they're capitalizing on the overzealous acts of Evergreen. Evergreen did this a lot in the late game of the last match. Give me Gangplank or Press, it just goes a little bit too hard in the paint, and they just end up getting debauched from that. That's exactly what they did this game. Give me Gangplank flashes to try to get something off. Yeah, John Ray gets caught out a little bit, but a beautiful face call by Juki ends up canceling out all that Gangplank, Give me Gangplank was trying to do right here. This is a much better James Monroe, and it's this precision and it's this capitalization on these mistakes that Evergreen is making that's really propelling them in this game too, looking to even this series up at 1-1.
Right, and the fearlessness with which they're approaching these situations. We see a lot of times these teams with these team counts that do really well at a certain stage of the game. They get an early lead, all their win conditions are falling into place, but they're just afraid to pull the trigger. But we saw JMHS. John Ray got caught in the bad position. They face called him out, but they're like, you know what? I think we can take this. And they threw him right back in. Sure, he went down, but the fact that they picked up a tower and the dragon on top of that, hashtag worth blowing up all over these players' Twitters. This one might not be worth though.
Woo! Talk about surviving by the skin of your teeth right there. Volume 4 coming out, but that might be a capitalization right here.
Yeah, in the top lane, Overthink, just one more blazer, one more auto attack. The kill does come through. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, the fight continues on. Blade getting fed. This could be very useful for Evergreen High, but it looks like James Monroe still looking for kills. Flogma gets a glitter lance across the wall to slow down the pursuit. Just about 150 health, 200 health on Glade as she manages to make a clean escape.
They're going to do that, but Overthink was not in the fight right now. It's a full health tower right here, but it does not matter because the Triforce is available. You actually have Overthink going, looking like the Blade of the Ruin King for a second damage item. So he's wanting to make sure to carry 5-1-1. That possibility is in effect. Juki is able to do a really good roam top. The tower is going to go down. And again, another objective, another solid rotation by JMHS. They are in full force right now. And yeah, they've had a little bit of mistakes. Volume 4 getting caught out a little bit, enjoying the death timer gray screen on his computer, but it doesn't matter. They're doing such a good job. They're rotating themselves around the map so well that a lot of success can be found if they continue the path that they're on.
What an interesting item choice coming out for Bob the Great in the top lane. Frozen Mallet we see a lot of times when Nars get ahead, but the fact that he's 1-5, almost like he's acting like he's 5-1.
He's really wanting to carry himself around. And, you know, I can understand going Frozen Mallet over the Black Cleaver because it's more health, and one of the most successful things that you can do against an Aurelia in lane is just build a lot of health because the true damage from her W just allows you to do something like that. But still, it just, ooh, wow,
yeah,
that was close.
Super low on mana. Otherwise, it looks like, no. Not as low on mana, just gonna come right in and shred them up. Glade and Juki, however, going 1v1. Vane's a good duelist, so Glade actually comes out on top of there. Volume 4 so low on health, forced to get out of there, but it looks like the TP comes in. Can they turn this around? Glade gets locked up. That was a great cocoon. The little bit of health left over on the spider actually manages to secure the kill there. 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 to the 4. Maybe I'll reuse that one, but the Blazer should be available. Doesn't kill that one. One more auto attack. Tick-tock, tick-tock. There it comes.
Bilge Water Cutlass to steal the victory right there. Really good job. And again, another successful venture for JMHS right there. It was a 3 for 2, but the damage is going to ensue. They're knocking on the door right here. Bob the Great and Flogmount are trying to come down, but it's just not going to be enough. Look, Overthink is just going in. He does not care. He wants to get the damage off. The ultimates are coming down. They're trying to do something. Is the tower going to go for it? Oh my god.
Meanwhile, Overthink. Whoa, my god, did he juke it? The last auto attack from Lulu actually managed to find the kill there, and the shutdown gold going into the pocket of Give Me Gangplay, courtesy of Noto. Gonna help them out just a little bit more, but man, not even 20 minutes, or right at the 20-minute mark, we have a mid inhibitor turret down. That's a tricky one to get.
It is, and when you get in a moment like that, desperation is what you have to do next. Volume 4 is out of position. There are 0, I repeat, 0 wards on the Baron. Blade has the Blade of the Ruin King, so he's going to be able to crank off a lot of damage, but it's just not going to be enough. The teleport actually gets canceled out by Bob the Great right there. They know they can't do it. That's a lot of resources. That's a lot of things that you just can't have happen. So what are they going to do? They're going to move themselves back around, and they have to reallocate their resources. They need to move things. Their gold and their efficiency that they had from game 1 has not translated over into game 2. If you look at their gold, what's the word I'm looking for? Their gold spread, that's the word. Gold spread that you see from last game to this game, all of their members except for the support are hovering between 6,000 and 7,000 gold. So instead of focusing all of their money to their mid and 80 carry, now it's just spread evenly across the board. And in some ways that's good, but when you have hyper carries, when you have champions that just do so much damage when they have the items, you need to be able to pump that gold there. And they aren't doing that right now. It's just not working out for them. And so what is JMHS going to do? They're going to knock on the door. They're going to pull the split push. They want that inhibitor. They want the pressure, and they want the game too.
Ugh, this is a Ryliza Zero on top of that. As if his soldiers weren't obnoxious enough. The fact that they can stick on you for so much longer. And this mid inhibitor under fire, JMHS with such a massive gold and stat lead, and it being evenly distributed in a way where it's useful on everybody. I mean, even Volume 4, that one Neurotoxin junked down Press A so much, and even the volatile Spiderling forcing an early back from the Snake. And while it was risky for Evergreen High School to try out that Baron, JMHS has a little bit more tools, and Noto putting them to use. The Emperor's Divide back into them, and these two members should not be longer for this world. The Mega Gnar, they didn't even have time to get it off as John Ree going forward yet time and time again to get these aggressive plays. But Presse actually gets a great petrifying gaze. They might be able to pick up a little bit of gold here, as it looks like they actually do manage to get a little bit for their efforts. Juki going full double lift into the enemy base, trying to tag out Presse tight, and rips it right out with the Ren. My goodness, chaos all over the base of Evergreen High School, but they're just constantly getting pushed in. No way. Okay, I was going to say.
Almost a clean ace for them, but it looks like Juki's going to be able to keep his solid and sure 12 KDA right there. Dragon is up. The pings are going down right there. Glade is going to just rush around, but you have to stop and pick up this juicy wave right here because it's just too much gold and too much XP to pass up, especially when you're behind and you need the items on the Vayne. Vayne is still sitting at 1.5 items right here. She needs to get that last whisper. She needs, or not necessarily last whisper, she needs to get the third item. She needs to complete it looks like she's actually going for the Phantom Dancer right there, so opting for the more expensive attack speed build. So you have a lot that you have to do, and you have little time to be able to do it. All the members of JMHS are back and through. The super minions are knocking on the base, and it looks like it's just going to be an easy third dragon right here for JMHS.
Life has got to be good for James Monroe High School in sunny Southern California. Picking up 3 dragons, easy peasy lemon squeezy in the first 23 minutes and 40 seconds of the game. Having a mid inhibitor down. This mid game power spike that we were talking so much about in the early game and even in Champ Select. We were even talking about it during the break. We're talking about these team comps, and you mentioned how strong JMHS is at skirmishing, and they've shown that so often here.
They have. They've done it so well. The skirmish potential, and look at this. Bob the Great just gets knocked out. Another skirmish, another pick, another success, and JMHS is just showing everything that happens. Sun's out, guns out, blood moon or no blood moon, it doesn't matter right here. The Baron is going to be theirs. There's nothing that Evergreen can do can do to contest this, and it's going to be a simple cut and dry Baron for them. JMHS, fantastic showing this game already. There's a lot that Evergreen can do to try to come back to this, but it's going to take a lot of coordination and a lot of misplays from JMHS if they want to come back in this.
And we've seen little flares of overzealousness coming out from James Monroe, especially when the when Juki flashed over the wall to try and secure the last few kills. They do that enough times, it's definitely possible for Evergreen to pick up the gold that they need, because there's still a lot of scaling potential left on Presse and Glade. Probably the single highest target champions in their respective roles and lanes. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but Vayne and Cassiopeia in the mid lane and in the ADC position in terms of single target damage, I don't think you really beat them.
You really don't, and you have the team to protect them, but they're just falling apart to these picks and just this kind of early pressure skirmish that you saw from JMHS. They really took advantage of the Aurelia Trinity Force power spike and were able to just force the issue, and forcing the issue enough and winning those forces just allows your team to just get that much farther ahead. This Kalista is something we haven't really touched upon. 3-1-10, doing a fantastic job. Snodo, we touched on him, on how he's really turned himself around this game. 8-2-8, putting on the carry pants indeed and pushing his team to victory. Look at that poke damage that you see coming out.
Wow.
Juke as well, able to get something, but it looks like they're trying to make a stand. They're trying to do something. It might end up right here.
Yeah, Presse, that zoning with the Rylai's Azir, it's so painful for Evergreen to try and get through. Like you said, when all these tanks are starting for gold, I mean, they can't absorb this damage. So great petrifying gaze, though. Can they turn this around right here?
Evergreen, dead.
There's a lot of damage. Presse trying to tag him down. Oh my goodness, that's 3 down on behalf of James Monroe. Monroe still alive, still doing a ton of damage. Bob the Great, can he build it? Bob the Builder, he goes down. Presse, however, they still have that mid lane with super minions to deal with. Does look like a lot of them are down. Oh, he goes right in for the triple. Can he pick up the Quadra? The Polymorph is down and the exhaust comes through as well. There's not a lot of damage coming out from this duo, though. He might try to turn it around for the Penta. Oh, baby, a Quadra. Can he get it? Come on. Can he get the Penta kill before my voice goes out? Actually manages to let it go, Elsa style. Noto picks up the Quadra.
Completely turned everything around. He rode on the back of his Azir turret, was able to take down one, and sat on the chain timers flawlessly right there. They're all spawned, they're doing something, but what they came for, he was able to get. He's got the empowered recall. He's able to open up the top lane inhibitor turrets, and that's going to bode so much success for JMHS right now. You were worried about how he would perform this game considering the way he did his Vigor, but he is doing his job and he is doing it well. 12-2-8. Look at Glade just get deleted right there. There's nothing he can do. He's caught in a rough spot, so I don't know if he'll make it out alive considering the slow, but still, that's another one down. Another one bites the dust, and when the carry is gone, that's got a lot of opportunities. JMHS could still pull a push off of this.
Volume 4 just one-shot Glade. It's not even a full damage Elise either. I mean, that's a Sunfire Cape, Leandre's Runeblade Elise. And when your champions that aren't even building full damage can just one-shot your carries like that, I mean, you know you're in a situation where you're not super happy with the way things are going. Their inhibitors have respawned, but it looks like the rest of JMH is going to march their way right through and just take them once again anyway. John Ray trying to look for the game-ending push right here. There's so much getting burned to save him, but this Cassiopeia does go down. Overthink zoning them out. The inhibitor goes down. They might look to rotate this top, but Flogma goes in, gets deleted as well. This could be the game right here for Evergreen High School. JMH just gets the triple. Can we see the second Quadra attempt of the game? The Fountain quells that attempt. Disney Gangplank just sitting in there. What can they do? Actually lures them back into the Fountain, but it looks like that is gonna be the ace for JMHS. My goodness.
And with minions coming down, that might actually be the end of the game right there. Cassiopeia is up in about 5 seconds, but it doesn't matter. The rest is there. The doors are open, and JMHS has turned around a very disappointing performance in game one. They did well, but then they threw, but then they came back, and look at this. Look at what they're able to do. It might actually get stalled out a little bit more. Oh, wow, I stand corrected. That's a lot of damage.
Skirmishing inside the base. Volume 4 trying to get away, but Glade pops the Bork and pops the Spider.
Inhibitor goes down, so, you know, that's about as successful as you can find. 11.3k gold. The 4th dragon is almost there with 15 seconds left remaining, and this is just a dominating showing by James Monroe. They are going to, from the looks of it right now, even this out and end the best of 2, going, even with Evergreen and pushing them even further into a solid point at the end of week 1 going into the HSL standings.
Oh man, you know what we call that, Jump?
What's that?
We call that a caster's curse.
It is a caster's curse indeed. There wasn't much we could do. We tried, but try as we might, it doesn't matter because the game's not in our hands. It's in the hands of these players, and it's James Monroe who decides to take the hand at controlling the pace of this game. They did exactly what they needed to do. At 30 minutes, we were talking about this in the break, of we were expecting a 45-minute game and then just a capitalization from another team, but it isn't that way. It's just been JMHS controlling the pace of this game, controlling the direction, and just showing exactly what it takes to come back from a difficult loss and push it in an even further victory at game 2.
And looks like this looking for the final push right here. So much getting burned by Evergreen High School to try and make their last escape. But Overthink just on the back lane. They're taking so long to delete them, and now that the rest of the team has caught up, probably not going to be longer for this world. Glade does pick up a couple though, but Noda just bops Gangplank right back into the tower. All those Ren stacks, rips it right out of him, gives him some, oh boy, whatever painful words you will call that. So many minions stacked up in the base of Evergreen High School. Here comes Volume 4. The rest of them laying siege to the last remaining inhibitor and inhibitor tower. 4 members still up on behalf of Evergreen though.
What better way to win than to win in style and get every single tower and do as much as you can. The damage from Juki is just going to prove too much. The minions are knocking on the base. They might try to end this right here. I don't know how much that Glade can try to combat this. It looks like they might just finish it off and win this game.
Yeah, especially with the TP.